Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. We're talking superhero stuff. There are so many worse things to do, and we spend most of our days doing them. So, day off, let's talk some superhero stuff.
Yeah, just a programming note here, too. We did record two Smallville updates for season 5 and 6. Those will be held for a bit and scheduled later for. Um, I'm trying to plan on when I want to release those because it seems like every time we've had a plan for something so far, big news has happened. So, like, originally we were supposed to do World's Finest. That might be something that we can record and like hold off for as well during. Just an update here for people. My wife is expecting a, a birth in July, so
Woo!
I will be dealing with adjusting to that. So I think we're gonna try to bank some of those episodes. Some of those Smallville updates will probably be coming in the end of June, July time frame. So just stick with that. Um, I don't know if Chris finishes season 7, maybe we record that and then season 5 can drop earlier. But just trying to have something built up here for our um, podcast feeds and our YouTube and stuff for when I'm tending to the child. Um, we also have some cool ideas that are coming near the end of June and Comic-Con stuff that we'll have episodes for in that time frame as well. So more stuff will be coming. And of course, if big news happens and I'm not able to record, I think Chris and Ron might be able to handle that. But we'll see. Just want to get that out of the way now before we dive into stuff. We have some news that happened. Of course, some Elseworlds news is dropping. So, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, now has a director confirmed, but also, which is Craig Gillespie. We talked about it before, but it is confirmed now. And it has a release date now, and that means I will be celebrating my birthday in 2 years, going to see Supergirl. June 26th, 2026 is when this movie will be dropping. So less than a year after Superman 2025, we will be getting Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which does seem to still have that Woman of Tomorrow um, tag. The way that Deadline was reporting before, they just shortened it to Supergirl, and then a lot of people ran with that, Chris, saying they're removing all the subtitles
Mm-hmm.
and what will Brave and the Bold be instead, and blah 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 blah. And it's just like a little jumping the gun there. It does, no pun intended. It does seem like that there is a still a subtitle, Woman of Tomorrow, on this movie.
Love it, love it, love it. Especially because I'm actively rooting for an adaptation of that story in the first place. So, yeah, I have no problem with it. I think the internet is going to do what the internet's going to do. I actually am kind of guilty. Like I thought, oh well, because I saw it and then you know what? It is now reverse course a little bit. We are back to what we originally thought. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's really exciting. It'll be on my birthday. I don't think a movie's dropped on my birthday ever, so
That's pretty cool.
that I'm interested in. And of course, that can change, that can shift, and it probably will. And I'll probably go to the Thursday showing, which means it'll be June 25th. But that's exciting. I always see people comment on like Reddit or Twitter when like a movie's announced, and like, oh, it's my birthday. What a way to celebrate! And I'm like, I want that for me, and I'm getting it. I'm getting that.
Well, well, my family, we believe in birthday season, so like the week is kind of yours. So
Yes,
it's
I'll
like
do that. Yeah, that's my
yeah,
week.
it's your week.
And we're gonna see Millie Alcock
yeah.
as
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl.
Can't wait. I think it's great. So excited for this movie, and I was hoping for a late December 2025. I think it was a little unrealistic, but I was hoping for it because I thought, man, that's a great time slot for a movie, and maybe we get it a little sooner. But a year between Superman and Supergirl, almost exactly a year, seems very fair.
Yes. So we are getting that in June 2026. It's gonna start filming at the end of the fall, which I think makes sense. They've kind of been giving more than the year. Uh,
Mhm.
you'll see Marvel, they're gonna start filming Fantastic Four in July and hope to have it out July of next year. James Gunn started filming in what, March, and he's gonna have it for July of next year. This is gonna be in fall, and it's gonna be for June of the following year. I think that is perfect, plenty of time for them to get this stuff sorted. It seems like they have the script. They really like the script because they moved that writer, Naquera, over to Titans to do the Teen Titans movie, and they have a director that they're running with. So it seems like everything's on progress. They have a star, which means we're probably going to get some more casting news as we go through the summer months here, as they build up for filming Supergirl. They did confirm
Mhm.
this, by the way, and I'm reading from the Hollywood Reporter that um, they are going to have. Uh, where was I reading this? Oh, that she is supposed to appear in another project before that. We all think it is, of course, Superman. Makes the biggest sense. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is like she appears in Peacemaker season 2 or Waller or something. But I do.
If it's Creature Commandos, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
But no, I do think it's probably Superman. I think that makes the most sense. I think
I
it
feel
makes the
like
most sense.
James Gunn denied that she was in Superman, but
No, he didn't deny it. He just said he never said she was.
oh, that's what it was. He likes
Yes,
this open-ended things that we
he
run with one
does.
way or the other.
But I think it'll make more sense. It doesn't even have to be a post credit scene. It could be like him checking in on her, her being like, "Hey, I'm about to go on this journey." I guess I don't know. Uh,
You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be Superman versus Supergirl, Dawn of the DCU.
oh right, yeah, we haven't done that. I
Yeah,
can't wait to see whose neck he snaps next.
yeah. That's why
Uh,
Lex Luthor is in this movie. You
yes.
know, it's all a circle.
But yeah, so I'm really excited for this. Just knowing that we're gonna get two super family movies back to back summers is very exciting to me. Uh,
Kryptonian summers. Let's make it a thing.
yeah, I mean, I really can't wait. I grew up loving Superman, of course. We've talked about before on through my love of Smallville, and then I was really excited for Superman Returns. Only watched that once. I have not revisited that, but Brandon Routh is great. Um, so then I saw Man of Steel in 2013. I was really excited for that. Um, I did like that movie. I don't hate it, right? As much as I joke about the Zod stuff and all that, but I
I
did
am the
enjoy it.
defender of the movie on this podcast. That's what happens. Is I'm like, I get your joking of it. Sometimes I'll joke about it too, but I do love me some Man of Steel.
Right, I liked it. My wife liked it for the Cavill stuff, right? So we went and saw that. That was when we
Liked it
were
for the
first.
Cavill stuff.
Once we first started dating, that was we were a month in, not even a month in, and I was like, "Will you go see Superman with me?" Um, letting my nerd flag fly. So we
Signed,
went and
sealed,
saw
delivered.
that, and then yeah, I mean that was, and then after that, it was all kind of. I wasn't really excited for BVS, but I went and saw it, and I actually left liking it more than the critics did. Um, and by liking it, I mean I walked out like, yeah, that was fine. I don't know why everybody hates it, but whatever. Um, that was kind of my opinion of it at the time, and then I did
Hmm.
leave Justice League the same way. I was like, yeah, that was fine. And then, but nothing has ever landed for me the way that Smallville or Superman and Lois has landed for me. So I'm
Agreed on
very
that.
excited for these two movies in back-to-back summers to hopefully nail the feel of
Hmm.
the Kryptonians, and hopefully the other fans show up and we have a great time.
Well, was the problem with Superman is it always seems to work on TV, but the movies are hit or miss, and it's frustrating. It's like It's so good on TV though. Like TV
Yeah,
Superman
why
has
is
been
that?
great.
Do you think it? I mean, like Man of Steel did all right for a good start for a movie.
I have
I
a
think they
theory.
left it. I think they left it without having a sequel, and they should have had a sequel before they did
Mhm.
BVS. I think they
I
should have done that.
I
But
have a theory.
I do think that for some reason we almost buy into the optimism of Clark more on TV than in the movies.
I have a theory that Clark is what you need to be invested in, and Lois is what you need to be invested in, and TV gives you the time to be invested in those characters. I think TV gets you, it's like you're a little more accepted of a lower budget, so it doesn't have to blow you away the way it does on the big screen. I think there's something to falling in love with the characters, being completely like just like, oh, I get it. And I think TV gives you the time to become a fan. I think the movies, it's like if you're not a fan already, I don't think the movie's going to do it because Henry Cavill had almost no Clark moments. Had almost nothing for
Yeah, we talked
Clarkness.
about that last year when we revisited the movie, right? It was
Hmm.
something I didn't really notice much on the first watch. But you know, when we're talking about it on the podcast, we both kind of said similarly. Like he's not really Clark. Like maybe as a kid he gets those Clark moments, but otherwise he's like a drifter. He's not like he becomes Clark at the end, right? Like
Hmm.
he becomes Clark at the end, where then he gets the Daily Planet badge and he is part of press and he's gonna be next to Lois and he's like, hey, and it sets up for something really great. And you're like, oh, we're actually at the point of where I wanted to see this character. And then they have to skip over it for BVS. And I think the
Hmm.
tone even changes so drastically in the Snyder trilogy from Man of Steel to BVS to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think like there was a little bit more optimism in Man of Steel, after he snaps the neck. But I mean, there was more optimism there after that, and like he was finally putting it, like we were finally seeing Clark Kent, and you're like, oh, this sets up great for a sequel. And then we just never got that sequel. Because even in BVS, he kind of has to take a back seat because they're focusing on Batman, and
Yep.
so it's a shame. It is a shame in that regard, and so I'm glad we're kind of just jumping into established Clark Kent, established at the
Yes.
planet, with Lois, with Jimmy Olsen, with Perry White. Like that's what I want. So I'm glad we're kind of jumping into that and having these movies back to back. And I'm sure they'll be different, right? Because
Hmm.
Woman of Tomorrow, I still have to read it, but it's a very different story from what I read from the typical Supergirl story and the typical Superman story. So they will have different tones. I don't think we're expecting the both to be, the big blue Boy Scout back to back. You know,
I will say with Woman of Tomorrow, that is a car that I absolutely love. Like I just like I'm all about it. She's kind of jaded. She has some good one-liners. She's not funny, but like, she's got like this is one scene where she's on a planet designed to be a trap for Superman and she goes, God damn it, they hate my cousin. Uh, and stuff like that. She's a little bit she's she never gives up and she's got that hope thing going, but she's a little bit more like angry about it. And it's cool. I like that car a lot. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a story that I kind of want to reread. I keep going through this list of stuff I want to reread because I'm going through the stuff that I need to read. It's an interesting little thing. But like I feel guilty when I read something almost because I have so much I want to get to. But yeah, cool. I'm looking forward to Supergirl a lot. I think it'll be fun.
yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to the next topic we have here, which was a reveal that Frank Grillo is joining Peacemaker season 2 as Rick Flag Sr. Of course, this is
Hmm.
now our first character of what James Gunn mentioned when he talked about Creature Commandos, that they are going to be they are cast with people that will make the jump to live action. So we are having that jump now. We're seeing it with Frank Grillo popping up as Rick Flag Sr. If you think maybe he looks a little too young, I did do the math. He's only 14 years older than Rick Flag Jr., Joel Kinnaman. So he just has to play up 4 to 5 years, and he'll be great.
Yeah. I mean, that's such an easy thing to accomplish with makeup. And not only that, but like
I'm
that's
assuming he'll have the
possible.
gray hair from like the
Yeah.
picture too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredibly possible anyway. Like it's not like if someone said like that was his father and like he had him really young, like okay, that can happen. Um it's not it's not crazy. It's not an age gap that you're like, no, there's just no way. But yeah, I like it. I like the live action, you know, cartoon version being the same. Really looking forward to that because that means we're getting David Harbour uh, in live action as well. Maybe, hopefully, he's one of my favorite actors. So really excited that he's playing Doctor
Yes.
Frankenstein or
I'm really curious to see how this goes.
the monster. Yeah,
I think once we get I'm really excited for Creature Commandos. Want to kind of kick this off, but I think seeing how Rick Flag Sr. is in that show, and then maybe being like, oh, okay, let's see how this translates, right? Like James Gunn confirmed this, and he kind of said, like, yes, they have a lot of unresolved issues. So I do think what they're kind of gonna do here is that Peacemaker season 1 happened almost exactly the same way, right? But with maybe out the cameos of the Justice League. Right? Like I
yeah,
think if he could, he would go George Lucas it and like remove those or something, right?
yeah. So basically, all he's got to do is cut out like 5 fish fucking jokes, and he's got it. Because it's that cameo with Ezra and Aquaman is really just to keep that fish joke going.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so if you did something like where he that's how I look at it. I know people think they're very confused on how it's going to work out, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think that'll be what it is, and maybe they'll have a little bit of a conversation regarding Rick Flag Jr. being dead. Um, and that's cool. I think that's great. Remember, he started working on Peacemaker and on Creature Commandos, I think, too, before he was handed the job to DC. So at that point, he was originally writing these things as being connected to the characters that he had already been working on. And then, whoops, I get the job at DC as the head now, and I got to try to make this stuff that's coming down the pipe make sense with the stuff that already existed, but also make sense with the new stuff that I'm writing, right? So it all became kind of
It's so easy to do though. Like if you're like, oh, it doesn't work, and you're picking and choosing, and this is horrible. You're only picking your stuff. I'll be like, you're intellectually trying to dislike it. Like, just let it happen.
also, of
See what
course, I'm going to
happens.
bring my stuff because that's stuff I worked on and I know the quality's good. you know,
Right.
like
Well, yeah, you know the quality is good, and you have relationships with the people. Like this idea that people always would like to work with their friends. Generally, that's true. If someone works well with somebody, they're not going to say, you know what, I'm never working with you again because we worked well together. What?
also you don't want to Peacemaker is already renewed. You don't want to like cancel that
Mm-hmm.
and create lose jobs, right? Like these are real things with
And
the with
contractually, you
what
might
that
not be
is.
able to.
Right.
Like once it was renewed, you contractually you might have to make that show one way or the other.
So he wrote all the episodes of season 2 and he's directing 3 episodes including the season premiere. We do know that the show is maybe started filming. I know John Cena said filming in June, but we saw him on set of something filming, James Gunn, which we thought maybe was the intro or
I
something
will
like that.
bet money it was the intro. I will bet money.
But James Gunn is directing 3 episodes. He's going to go right from Superman over to Peacemaker and direct those shows. The hardest working man in Hollywood, as he's also hiring people to write and do these other projects. All right, so this is a big one because I've seen a lot of Marvel people attaching themselves to this too, but like Marvel rumors. There's a website called Production List, different than Production Weekly. Production Weekly has been more accurate but can still be wrong. It's almost like IMDb, where somebody that is in the know can edit it with a subscription. So take it as a grain of salt. But production list is where this rumor came from, which is that Booster Gold was going to start filming July 8th of 2024. This started going around. I've now seen on the Marvel spoiler stuff that people are like, "Oh, Spider-Man 4 is going to start filming in January 6th, according to production list." I've seen them say Avengers 5 is starting due to production list, and all these other ones are starting in January due to production list. And I'm like, let's not believe those right now, because what we can learn from this is that James Gunn said, somebody asked him about the rumor, and he said, although we're still working on Booster Gold, production isn't imminent, and that story and posting is completely false. So there you go, from the horse's mouth. So far, they are not close to filming.
Well,
And
I haven't heard nothing about a script or casting or anything like that. So I would,
exactly, that's the thing. Like, there's been rumors saying, "Oh, well, he's already cast. Booster Gold is already cast," and like, can't wait to see who it is. All those kind of rumors. And the truth
I
is,
would,
we don't know if it's true. He could show up in something else. But for me, I'm not attaching any of these dates to anything until James confirms it, or there's a casting news,
right.
there's some sort of writer attached, there's some sort of director attached, which of course would come from the trades before it goes to production. And the fact that we would be 2 months out from production is ludicrous. We know
Hmm.
nothing about this.
Yeah, there's too much going on. I okay, so I don't believe casting has even been thought of. So I think they
I
know who
agree.
Booster Gold might be. Like I think they have a list of people in their head, and I think Chris Pratt is probably on that list. But I don't think they ever
I'll
they
tell you this, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I don't think James would want to give him the same sort of role as Star Lord. I don't think that would be what he would do.
it, I, the problem is it's such an obvious casting for me that it seems like it's right there. But you've got a point. I but I think there's probably 3 to 5 people that they're like, "Yeah, Booster Gold." But I don't think they're, like, actively casting. I think they have a framework. But you know what? Everyone has a framework because everyone fan casts and everyone knows what Booster Gold's supposed to look like, what kinda age he's supposed to be. I mean, we'll see. But I've heard nothing about this project. Heard absolutely nothing, so other than it's happening. So I believe James Gunn when he says none of this is true.
Yep. Yeah, so just don't take production list as the end all be all if you're listening to the show here. They are not fully accurate. James Gunn also clarified that the events of Waller are going to take place after Peacemaker season 2. So that's the way that is currently going. Superman's getting ready to film in Macon, Georgia. There's rumors that this is actually going to be kind of tented off and we're not going to see much of it, which is good to me. I don't need stuff leaking. So
It
I'm good
probably
with
should
that.
be done that way anyway, but I'm actually kind of hoping to see a couple of pictures sneak in there. Um, just give me something to chew on. But I saw that Ron pointed out there was a Central City sign, like a street sign that says Central City on it. I was like, okay, let's play with
Yeah,
that.
but I looked into that. That Central City Park is actually a real park in Macon. So I don't think it has anything to do with the Flash,
No,
unfortunately.
but what I'm saying is you can make it have something to
You
do with the
can,
Flash.
you can, yeah. That's what when he first showed me that, I was like, oh, is this supposed to be a scene that takes place in Central City? And then I was like, let me just see if this is a real park, and it was.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Also, James Gunn invited a bunch of the comic book writers
Hmm.
onto the set. Scott Snyder was
Saw
one of the
that. Yeah.
people who did a visit, and he had talked to somebody about it, and he said that there was a scene that was being filmed between Superman and Lex where they had stunts involved. Um, and that Nicholas Holt was in Lex dress, but people don't know if that means business suit or power armor or what. Um, but yeah, no, it just seems like he's doing everything right. Scott Snyder said, "Hey, this is being handled with absolute care of the character." I think all these legends, Dan Jurgens and
Hmm.
everybody in there, that makes me just so optimistic for the movie. And I think, I mean, what else can you say when all these comic book writers who have written this character are like, hey, they're doing this right? Like, I feel like that's a good sign.
Yeah, I do too. I also think there'd be, if they weren't doing it right, I think one of them might say something. Like if like I feel like there's a lot of honest people in that group. So I'm excited about that. I really like Scott Snyder, so when he gives it his vote of approval, I'm like, okay. I agree with your Batman sensibilities. I'll trust your take on the Superman movie.
Agree. Um, all right. Well, I think that's most of the news here.
Yeah.
Um, I
I
know
I
short episode here, but
I heard something about Green Lanterns might be closer than we thought. So
yeah, I'm holding
um,
off that. James Gunn did share the picture
yep.
of the lantern, right? Like the lantern fist. I forget what event it's from, but he did share a picture of it. Um, I do think that one will probably be the next TV show we really start to hear stuff on, or after Waller. So
Hmm.
the way that I think this is going right now is Superman 2025, potentially Peacemaker season 2, and then 2026. I would assume we have Supergirl, um, and we have the Batman Part 2 in 2026, and I would assume we get something like maybe like Waller, maybe Lanterns. I would think that we know for sure we're getting those two movies. And then the TV shows can be done in their own thing. I don't think they actually take that long to make compared to other projects.
Lanterns could because of all the post production it's going to require.
If it requires that much. I mean, he talked about them being True Detective style, you
Yeah,
know?
but True Detective Green Lantern, I still need some Green Lantern stuff.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be in the dress, but I like the costume. I just don't know if they'll be like
Hal Jordan wears a dress. What?
flying around, I guess. But I don't know. I do think that I like the way they're approaching it so far. I think some people expect big stuff at Comic Con, and I still don't actually. I don't. Um,
I'm dreading Twitter on that day
yeah,
because if we get something, they're going to freak out about it. And if we don't get something, they're going to freak out about it. And I'm just like, it's going to be a miserable app. It's just like, I will probably ignore the living daylights out of it on that like weekend week, like just let all the smoke clear.
I think what you would look at right now is the stuff we know in the trades. We just have to go off of that, right? Like so far we know it's Superman and Supergirl. We know that they hired Naguera again to write Titans. I would assume if that goes along well, that might be the next one, right? Like after
Yeah,
Supergirl, that might be the next one.
honestly, we just need enough of these projects. We need enough of these projects to go into production that James Gunn's 4-year contract is good. You know, so
Yeah, yeah.
we need as much promised in that 4-year time as humanly possible. Unless it all sucks, but you know.
I think the 4-year deal is really just an out in case if it's bad. I don't think he would move on, and I don't think like if Superman does well, I just think that is when you might hear about maybe a re upping, right? Like
Yeah,
that type of thing.
yeah.
Um,
I have heard some people say that James Gunn might burn out, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure
I don't know
he
if he
would.
can.
Exactly.
The way
Yeah.
that he's juggling all this, and he's
Yeah.
talking about how I don't know how excited he is for it. I don't think he can burn out. Like, I think
So,
he's just like, this is how he works. He just works
he's the
and he
king of
likes
the
working.
nerds. Let's
He likes
go.
he likes working and he likes doing it. Um no, I don't think he
Yeah,
can burn out, really. That's
that
what's
is
so special
comforting.
about him. He writes he writes all of Creature Commandos at the same
Uh-huh.
time writing Superman. While he's doing Superman, he writes all Peacemaker episodes. He's directing Superman. He's then directing episodes of Peacemaker season 2. I mean, it's amazing. I do wonder if he's
Yeah.
going to write a another movie here for one of these initial ones he announced, or if it's all going to be different writers.
Well, James Gunn,
I would
he could
assume
have
he would
probably already
only,
written another movie, and we would just
yeah.
find out about it after. Like he'd be like, that time, instead of going to bed, what I did was I directed Superman. I went over to the intro for Peacemaker, and I got a whole new script going, baby. Um, I could just see it. So
Because I could see him only wanting to write the ones he would direct. I could see him doing that, and so
that's
it
fair.
makes me wonder which ones he would direct. If it'd be like Superman 2, or if he's like, I actually want to do what's another one he announced? Because we know Swamp Thing is attached to
Booster Gold
Mangold.
seems like a him thing.
Yeah, maybe he would write Booster Gold, and maybe he'd direct a couple
Yeah.
episodes or something.
Yeah, Booster Gold seems like a him thing. I would say that I doubt that he would write like a Lanterns. Um,
The rumor is that's Damon Lindelof and Tom King, and I want
and
to
I'm
know if
good
that's
with
going to
that.
be confirmed or not. But
I'm good with
that
that
sounds
with
good to
that
me.
duo. Yeah, I'm good with that. That's confirmed goodness as far as I'm concerned. Um, yeah, I like Tom King an awful lot. I really like Tom King. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm a Tom King guy.
Alrighty, well that I think wraps us up. Some speculation there. Like I said at the top of the show, we got some more stuff coming for you as we prepare for the paternity leave. Oh, My Adventures with Superman starts this week as well, the 25th. What day is that?
That is
Friday?
3 days from now. Yeah. Now, are all the episodes coming? No, they're going to be one a week.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 episode premiere
Okay.
and then weekly. So we'll be talking about those. I don't know if we'll be doing that every week, but we'll catch up on those as we go, I guess. And that'll be something for us to talk about. Over on the Pod Awakens, the Acolyte coverage is starting soon because that's coming up. We'll see if I'm on all of those episodes or not because the finale is my wife's due date. So we'll see if that happens or not. And
I'm
then,
going to go out on a limb and say it doesn't happen,
yeah,
Jordan.
I don't think so either. Deadpool and Wolverine. Chris and Ron will have you covered there because I
Mm-hmm.
will definitely not be seeing that opening weekend due to the newborn. So,
I already got my
uh,
tickets.
yeah, you got
Excited.
your tickets.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great. So we'll have that. We got plans for that whole run up to Deadpool and Wolverine. So just keep your eye out
I am
over on our
so
Marvel
excited for
pod.
that movie. I'm so excited for that movie.
Me too. Me too. I'll get spoiled on it, I'm sure, before I see it. But
We'll try to be good to you.
But yeah, so you can reach us at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social medias. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And we will catch you next time. I guess we'll say it now. Next time, we'll talk My Adventures with Superman 2-episode premiere. So make sure you stick around for that.
Let's go.